Well, hello everyone, welcome back to PlayFrame and to Pyre, and the final season of Rite's Ball. Let's go ahead and send it out with a bang, as best we can. So, I consulted Volfred's planner to try to choose who of these teams we should go up against here. And it's interesting, like, most of the teams are very low right now in favor. And the accusers are also completely out. I guess we beat them so bad, they've been banned from the game. Makes sense. Of the two up here at the top, only the Dissidents are available for a match currently, and I feel like if I had to go into a final round against a team, Dissidents is probably not who I'd pick. I mean, we've got two very speedy teams here. Not that I think we're going to be facing either of them at the end, but I'd rather face the Pyre Hearts, I think. Even though we have lost to them once. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Also, we've just heard from them the least. I guess we haven't spent a lot of time with Chastity either. Who cares? Probability of success is looking pretty darn good, though. So even if we don't succeed this time around, I like our odds. Anyway, let's see. Yep. Here we go. Once more, you are to face the Dissidents, then. Although, I wonder. He hesitates before saying anything further. You cannot sense his thoughts. I apologize. I was lost in thought there for a moment. Let us make our way for the spring of Jamur, when everyone is feeling more refreshed, as much as possible. Who wants to talk? You. Well, do you want to talk or don't you? Make up your mind. The lone minstrel has returned already to the wagon after Pamitha's homecoming to the Commonwealth in the Liberation Rite. Your companions are most grateful to you, reader. Would that Rookie could have been here with the rest of them to witness Pamitha's glorious return. I trust they soon shall reunite there in your Commonwealth, where they may yet contribute to the outcome of your plan, and thus create a place that welcomes all of you. Not really my plan, but yes. May you and your companions to continue... What? May you and your companions to continue... I think that's a typo. May you and your companions continue to prevail thus. For now, Celeste and I are to return to our respective roles until we meet again at Scribe's Gate. Rest well for now, reader. He bids you a good rest of the night. How's it going, book? Downside diseases. Ailments in the downside often give no warning when they strike. Those who keep moving and make no attempts to settle, they reduce their risks. The afflictions come in multiple varieties. In the bogs of flagging hands, a pallor tends to sink into the skin and then into the mind. The nauseating sea of solace north of there is difficult for some to tolerate. Very hot or very cold environs bring their own specific side effects. My coat is not as lustrous now. My fangs are long. Like all aspects of the downside, all these ailments share a purpose: to test your body, mind, and spirit. They only appear to harm. Accept them, surpass them, move on. Interesting. But also, on legacy. Reader, though you shall always bear a burden, it is much lighter than the burden of a lonesome exile. Go forth and become free. Then, join with others such as you and lead with mercy, continuing to demonstrate your worth and knowing that the Empire's fall formed the foundation of our Commonwealth. You shall cease to be a reader and become a voice both to the free and to your successors here, who shall take up this book when you no longer need it. The cycle of the rites shall see to it that you and others like you shall be liberated, ere the coming of another age. May the stars shine ever brightly on us all. Thanks, book. Hey, Sandra, anything new from you lately? Okay, just had to check. Okay, let's hit the road. Sky Road. It is daybreak. You are to set forth now for the spring of Jamur, for what appears to be the final time. Thereafter, you shall return here for one last exile's final chance at liberty. I'm torn. On the one hand, I feel kind of ready to see how this game ends. It feels like it's been a satisfying length. I'm feeling like this would be a good time for it to be kind of wrapping up, and yet, the closer we get to it, the finality of it, the more anxious I feel about it. They've done an incredible job at building this up. Ha! So the night wings darken our skies once more. We suffered much from the defeat you handed us last time. Until our next encounter on a sacred site. I told you to stay out of our way. Get out of my sight! Do they even let you play anymore? I thought we beat you too bad. Seeming awful orange out here now. I was thinking this whole place was going to get buried in snow, but it's seeming very much not like that. I guess it's just kind of dark. With so many stars gone. Unsettling. And nothing even to read. Sad. All right. Where should we go? Shay has expressed interest in this one. Falcon Ron may be passing through here with a special offer. I'm poor right now, Ron, so I'm gonna hang with Shay. Not to, no offense, but I like her so much more than you. And I don't dislike you, I just like her a lot. Locate the missing drive imps, you say? That should be fun. Your intentions to explore the rocky pathways of Gluehive were dashed when, on your arrival, several of the wagon's strong-willed drive imps escaped. Fortunately, their disposition toward mischief proves predictable enough, and soon, all the imps are once again accounted for. However, Shay also has a nasty bite to show for it. Why did they bite me? I didn't bite them? Maybe next time I should? You dress the minor wound, which ought to heal soon, but the incident took much of your remaining time this day and left both you and Shay awaiting its merciful conclusion. Oh, a little bit of quickness lost. Bummer. We'll manage. Bad imps. Shame on you. No biting. All right. Boy, and quickness is something we could really use here. Although, yeah, we definitely need her in on the team. Like, she's our kind of last remaining scorer at this point. Not that the others can't. It's just a lot harder with everyone else. We got some strong defense, though. Let's see. Guys, can't help but wondering whatever happened to that number with the wings. You know, the one, I guess she's kind of pretty, maybe, I suppose. She's still around by any chance? Because, well, anyways. Afraid not, Ron. Cool. Not that I really need it for anything, but cool. Yeah, we're good. Thanks, Ron. Just not a lot of customers today. Another time, perhaps. Let's do this thing! After making all the necessary preparations amid the barren wastes of the Spring of Jamur, you and your companions await the commencement of the rites. It is quieter even than usual at the onset of such events. The lone minstrel appears, bearing some sort of news. I've checked, and it appears as though the dissidents have not yet arrived, reader, sir. There is no sign of Barker or anyone. Their sigil is not set either. If what he says is true, and your adversaries are not present, then You presume the rite cannot commence. However, the stars themselves soon indicate you are mistaken. So they forfeit, I guess? Really can't remember which of these I have not done. That I still want to do. You know what? I'm good. Like, I can't remember exactly the experience bonus I get from these, but like maybe it's increased over time, but previously it was just like, yeah, 3%, come on. Not worth it. I'm definitely not activating multiple of these to bump it up even higher, so like, I can forego a 3% difference, thank you. 2 of my crew are maxed out anyway. Also, my opponents are no-shows.
Reader, the Commonwealth, your home. Today it is aflame. Much like a stack of books.
Well, I didn't do it.
Aflame because of you.
I beg your pardon.
Because of your outlandish plan.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you care. Not that you shall live to see this place again. Your attempts at revolution shan't succeed. Though by all means, keep trying. As for myself, I shall enjoy presiding over these remaining rites.
Yeah, you have fun. The rite is set to commence, but your adversaries, they have failed to show. By the scribes, they must have lost all hope. Indeed. As the rites are drawing to a close, some of the triumvirates whom you have met, perhaps they are beginning to decide the stars are not worth heeding any longer. Barker, you wonder whether he would give up on the rites like that. It really did seem more like Barker and this crew weren't in it for getting out so much as the love of the game. On the one hand, he is unpredictable. On the other, bowing out of such a competition seems at odds with his thrill-seeking nature. Yeah, see, that's what I'm thinking. In any case, we have begun the ceremony here, and so I ask that we end it. Oh.
Who shall besmirch the Nightwing's name?
I mean, we can just go and start scoring points and dunking and all that, but I guess if we just sort of have to see this through, why not?
Bertrude.
And just in case they throw something mean at me.
Shay.
Shiru-sama?
Fine.
So do we just put out that little flame over there? I mean, is that it? Kind of seems like.
Lo, even your adversaries have abandoned you.
Is there even a flame over here? Does this count?
And it is done. The Nightwings prevail by default. Not that their adversaries even care.
Wow, that is very neat, like weird feeling in a neat way. My only hope is that our would-be adversaries find some peace.
Boundless are the teachings of the scribes.
Was kind of hoping that would give some experience, although I suppose I understand.
May misfortune find you ere the turning of the stars.
Hey. Be nice. No one speaks further of the dissidents back at the Black Wagon. Everyone is instead preoccupied with the rite that is to come. Thus does the final chance at liberty present itself at last, then. The stars always shine with truth. The ending of the cycle of the rites is now upon us. He looks over to you. Please look forth, reader, sir, and see this for yourself. You may well surmise where we are going next. The others turn to you as well. You turn toward the wagon's door. You know what you shall see out there. Now, however, the time has come to face it. The dim and fading light of the final star still pierces through the darkness, demanding your attention, guiding you toward the end point of your path. Let's look upon it for the last. What a great build-up. Just these last 2 or 3 weeks of episodes have been, honestly. I enjoy all of their games a lot. I think this might actually be some of Supergiant's strongest writing work. Granted, I've not played Hades 2 yet, so and Hades, like, it's not like any of theirs are weak by any stretch. They've got a really strong narrative chops, but yeah, just the emotional journey this one takes you on, it's really strong. Well, yeah, it's kind of what I figured. The golden star burns bright over the fall of Solium. Orlek is already on his way. Interact to challenge the true Nightwings here next. Prevail, and one among you shall be free. And our record against them is extremely 0-1. Yeah, it wasn't even close. I don't know what to expect this time. I have gotten a lot more of the game's mechanics have clicked for me now than then, but I don't know if it's enough. You are summoned to the fall of Solium for your 7th and final liberation rite. Thus shall the cycle of the rites be ended for an age. You sense that if the rites ever shall commence again, it shall not be during your lifetime, or that of any of your companions, even the longest-lived ones. The stars reveal to you one thing more. The adversary whom you face shall be Orlek. Already he has crossed Scribe's Gate and awaits your arrival. If the 8 scribes created the Nightwings in their own likeness, perhaps it is only fitting that the Nightwings should, in the end, be forced to face themselves. It is a shame that we should have to confront Orlek in the end. Our goals should never have been at cross purposes. I am surprised that this is what the scribes desire. For now, it may be best that you recover until dawn. Regain your strength as best you can for the coming trial. Rest well, reader. The group disperses as exhaustion sets in. At dawn, you fly to Mount Elaudiel to make a final effort to achieve your plan and get somebody home. But who? We're at 82%, so even if we can't get Volfred up there, odds is good. No one feeling chatty? Oh, there was something shiny. The sparkly thing in its center is in fact its heart, which it airs out from time to time. A keepsake from the Sea of Solace. Only a monster would attempt to remove the heart or would have the strength. Was this closed previously? Like, this might be a thing I could click on? And I guess it... yeah, no, it's not. I was wondering if it was shining. Like, I was wondering if, like, had this thing opened? Like, it's been sitting on the shelf this whole time and now it's just opened all the way. It is neat. Hee. Also some mushrooms and some these and sure. Well. Off we go.
Foolish reader,
Wah.
your so-called friends. You are accomplice to their hateful plot. They are exploiting you. You shall never have your freedom.
So spiteful. And petty. By dawn, you are already up and about after a troubled slumber. The black wagon is prepared for its final voyage to the fall of Solium. No one speaks. Off we go, then. As you lift into the skies, the lone minstrel raises his voice, cutting through the somber mood. Reader, a certain olden ballad comes to mind just now. I think it may befit the circumstance. Perhaps it may help to pass the time along our flight. Would you mind it very much if I were to play this song for the Nightwings? By all means, please do. A song from the lone minstrel may help lift the spirits of your companions at this vital time. You urge the lone minstrel to play his ballad so that all among you might hear it. He begins without another word.
When the stars align, the Rite shall come to bear, illuminate the signs, the exiles shall be there. All are not the same, but three shall be as one. Freedom in the flame, the end has just begun. Strength may break our own.
I'm gonna buy him some time to sing.
Twisted make a braid, together on their own. The journey shall be made. The journey shall be
That was very nice, Bart. Thanks for a song. All right. Bertrude wants this one. And Tizo wants this one. Much as I enjoy Tizo time, Bertrude's probably going to be in the match itself, so, yeah. You touch down amid the sheer cliffs of Mount Eladiel to make pilgrimage to the summit for one last time. There, one last liberation rite shall soon commence. There, one last exile shall regain his or her freedom. All others shall remain to carry out their sentences here in the downside for the remainder of their lives. And in the Commonwealth, the plan of which you are a part shall either come to fruition or shall be suppressed. And I have no idea what Oralek plans to do upon leaving, but given the injustice of him not being out of here already, it does feel like another one of those matches where even if we lose, there is a satisfaction in the opponent getting out. After having landed, you join Bertrude on an expedition to the monument of Molten Malith for what is likely to be the final time. We beseech ye, ancient gods of the last age, and we invoke thine aid. We have traveled far to gain this summit many times, and stood steadfast with our compatriots who seek to leave this place. We now offer ye our services eternally, if ye would grant us such a boon as to ensure our triumph in the coming night. Long would we serve ye, O ancient gods, should ye accept our offer here and now. Soon she's finished. You return to the wagon in silence, feeling as though Molten Malith has shown you favor. At dawn, you shall begin your last ascent, For now, your vocations may occupy what little time you have to spare. Yay, more glory for you. And also, yay, more vocations, because I am curious what this last little bonus might be. Your deepening knowledge of the Book of Rites is not nearly enough. Aspects of it still elude you. Through greater understanding comes the reader's influence. Oh, had I not gotten the last of these? Or was this not available previously? Yeah, maybe these other 3 were available before and now I can get more of this. Okay, cool. Nice. Why not? What have you come to understand of the book? Can you recite its pages yet by heart? Have you internalized its teachings? In its lack of limits, you experience yours. Inspiration comes to you in a flash, whether from the book or from within, you cannot tell. Yay, more glory for team. Well, off we go. We might be in the finale right now. Don't really know what happens after this point. We'll find out. Ooh, yes. A messenger imp somehow tracks you down in the solemn beauty of Mount Eladiel and delivers to you recent news and rumors from the other side. Specifically, the imp shares details regarding Pamitha and what became of her since she was liberated at the fall of Solium. She found herself back in the homeland of her enemies, where, despite her connection to the High Wing remnants, her past transgressions were forgiven. In fact, she was asked to join the military council given her unique background, yet she refused to cooperate and instead demanded to be reunited with her sister Tamitha. But when they threatened her with a resentencing to exile and insisted that she take the opportunity, Pamitha said at last that she would think it over and return with a decision soon. Next she was seen, however, was among Wulfred's sons and daughters of the Revolution, where it is said she has attached her loyalty, at least for the time. You thank the imp for bringing you this news, which soon gets your companions talking. I wonder where her sister is right now. I'm sure she cares for Pamitha, I'm sure of it. We suspect the ancient enmity between the winged and the flightless shall not be soon resolved, if ever at all. I hold to hope that both the Thane sisters one day soon shall join together as part of our good cause. The two of them can help lead us toward a brighter future. Clan Thane, a feared clan of the High Wing remnants. Pamitha and Tamitha are its surviving members. Tizo wishes for Pamitha to find her way and her sister and the Commonwealth. In spite of some mixed feelings, the news of Pamitha's liberation fills you and your fellow exiles with resolve. +1 hope, and we're going to need it! I wish Pamitha luck, but I think it's us that are going to need luck at this immediate time. She can have it when we're done with it. You stand before the Scribe's Gate with your companions. The Gate Guardian is there, as ever, but you sense something different in her. The exiles of the Nightwings. We shall not meet again after the coming rite. Tariq and I, it shall be time we take our rest, I think. Greetings, Celeste. I would tell you that the Nightwings are prepared, though this time I'm uncertain anyone amongst us feels thus. We have a duty to uphold, Tariq. And then what, Celeste? And then nothing. Not for the Rites or us. Not till the dawn of a new age. Now, Nightwings, step forward. Please state your names and what it is that you seek whilst crossing Scribe's Gate. One by one, your fellow exiles approach her, now with sureness in their step. May I speak first? My name is Shay, and I'm here because the scribes, this is the path that they've shown me, and all of us. I like it when they call to me. We are called Big Bertrude. We seek to fulfill the plan of Sandalwood, for we are fond of him and his beliefs, and then to go about our business. My name is Wulfred Sandalwood. I long as yet to see an age where freedom is one's birthright, and no longer are good people such as these forced to contend for it. Tizo believes that his ancestors are watching over the Nightwings and seeks to live up to their legacy. Finally, you step forward once more. You, a common wanderer who vowed to help his friends be free again, and who managed to come this far with this group. The Gate Guardian observes you for a moment, then motions past the archway toward the summit.
Gratan octolorica.
The 8 scribes bid the Nightwings welcome. Go forth with glory.
Disasaivaros.
Except for you, Tariq. You stay right there. I thought you said.
Rictus tafinem.
The rites are not yet ended, Tariq. He looks to her, then over to the rest of you. Pardon me, everyone. I shall be there when the stars align. The Gate Guardian and the Lone Minstrel remain together as the rest of you depart. You have gained the summit of Mount Eladiel for the 7th time, the final time in which any one of you shall have a chance to leave the downside. Good luck to us. Oh, good. You have a thing to say, that's great. Hey guys. I guess you probably heard the big news, huh? Yeah, I'm going out of business here, I guess. Just hasn't been the same, you know, what with all the stars fading out and stuff. Anyways, just wanted to say, you guys are great. I sure am gonna miss having you guys as customers and all that. But I got some good news though, too. All my stuff, it's all on sale now. And I'll throw a little extra there just for you, okay? So, enjoy. And maybe I'll be seeing you guys around, okay? Henceforth, all of Falcon Ron's goods are 5% off. Great. That's probably the funniest joke in this game yet. That's very good. I have $13, Ron, so... for your sake, I want to make a purchase of something, but I don't think you have literally anything in your shop for $13. Wait, you do. Cursed things. But hey, we haven't been penalized for having those in our inventory yet. It's probably fine. And it is a nice gesture. Thanks for the cursed item, and all the other items. The less cursed ones. More thanks for those even, actually. Ron. Appreciate it. Good luck to you, buddy. You guys have a good day out there. Gonna try. Sandra! You rang. Thank you for visiting on such short notice, reader. I understand you have important matters to attend to. So let me be blunt. Please, listen for a moment, then. I know this whole affair is coming to an end, all of it. I sense the binds that formed the rites becoming weak. Which means, soon you will not need me anymore. Not that you've needed me at any point, but still, my services will not be of any further use. I would love to tell you that this means I shall be free from my eternal prison. For some of my Beyonders, it shall be a release. My accomplices are bound by weaker words than those which have bound me. They shall fade away, I think, and finally rest. I, however, shall remain. She hesitates for a moment. Thus, I have a proposition for you. I do not know where you shall go from here, but I ask you take me there, wherever it shall be. And by that, I mean, take this stone prison of mine and keep it. Do not just leave it, as all of your predecessors have, each time their stay among the Nightwings reached an end. Soon, the Beyonder Crystal shall serve no use at all, except to keep me trapped. I'm content to remain thus, for I have little choice, but I would prefer to do so in your company. For I do enjoy your company, reader. This may not be much of a compliment, but I assure you that I much prefer your company to an eternity of solitude. I have no wish to see you gain in years and to eventually decay, whilst I remain unchanging. But I should rather have more years whilst having contact. Even if those years are to be brief, they shall afford me many more in which I might think back upon our times. Nor do I expect you to accommodate my needs, for I am well aware I have my limits in accommodating yours. That is to say, I wish you to go forth after this night and live your life however you see fit, for your own sake. May all this rites business enrich your coming days somehow. And in considering that life after this night, if you think that there may be a place in it for me, however small, then once again, I simply ask that you take me along. That way, should you ever wish to visit me again sometime, you could. And I would like to have that as an option more than not. My request here is a selfish one, for there's little I can offer in exchange, other than what little my companionship is worth. Perhaps I could lull you to sleep once in a while. Who knows? You could always try to sell the Beyonder crystal for a reasonable sum somewhere, or something to that end. There must be someone out there with an interest in this thing. So, then, you've heard my sad little proposition. What do you say? Oh, absolutely. Why not? Sandra has proved to be a kindred spirit. You'd rather not part ways with her. You grasp the Beyonder crystal and set it into the folds of your clothing. Sandra senses this and makes a sound, as though surprised. Thank you, reader. She is at a loss for a moment. Then, let us go then, from this place. Go, and face your last remaining adversaries. May you crush them under your heel and achieve the outcome which you seek. I believe you shall prevail. She disappears into the stone, for now. You took the Beyonder crystal with you. We're keeping it. Ours now. We might not be coming back in here. Let's have one last look around the place. Jody's throw rug, fashioned from a howler's hide, sends their ilk a clear message while reminding you of Jadariel. Volfred's planner. Volfred maintains a detailed summary of your progress through the rites, currently having a smoke. A little stressed. I understand. A drive imp. The white lute. The lone minstrel Tariq's musical instrument, with which he chronicles great deeds through song. He's currently off somewhere else. Don't you need this? For your song? Keepsake from Big Bertrude, the nautical bell. Common room. Tizo's nest. Currently up in the rafters. Various scraps and things laced together with bits of ribbon and fabric, topped off with a plush fish. Greentail family portrait. A reasonable likeness of Ruki, his mother, and uncle. May they have reunited by now. Hedwin's cooking tins. What passes for cooking supplies here. Hedwin used to do most of the cooking, but now. That is kind of one of the unfortunate bits. I'm sad we didn't get to know Hedwin a little better. Also sad we didn't get some more time with Gilman. Glad we got in plenty of quality scenes with Gilman, but I certainly could have done with a few more. Sir Gilman's crest, certificate of knighthood in the Commonwealth. Gilman did not want it anymore. Any other character-related things? Pamitha's moonshine, of course. Kept close at hand in the off chance of a good occasion. Pamitha wanted you to have it. And Bertrude's decks. Unusual etched cards depicting the Greater Titans, probably for curses and enchantments. She's currently channeling her ancestors. Hope it works. Oh, right, also, Shay's scribe catcher. The bundle of sticks Shay insisted on hanging in the rafters. She believes it brings good fortune. She's currently deep in thought. It is time for sports. Let's do this thing. Commence the final liberation. You have gained the summit of Mount Elaudiel for the 7th time. Very few stars remain above to light your way as you await the commencement of the final liberation rite. The lone minstrel finds you clutching the Book of Rites, seeking there perhaps some bit of wisdom that has eluded you thus far. Reader, we may not have a chance to speak again after this. I may have to go. I wished to say that I am grateful for having made your acquaintance, and I shall remember you with fondness. I wish you well, this night and always. Go forth with glory. Then he looks up, and he extends his hand in friendship. You clasp it. You see Shay has joined you. All of your companions are there with her, in fact.
Himanolia.
Oh, hi, mister. The others said they wanted me to join them and come to talk to you, so here I am. The scribes are watching us. It is strange for me to say, given the circumstances of our meeting, reader, but it has truly been a pleasure. Onward now. Let us achieve our plan. Reading one. Thou art both wiser and less irritating than most others of thy kind. We have learned something from thee, and we are grateful. Yes, Tizo. Tizo wants you to know he has the utmost faith in you. Likewise, Tizo. You look upon your fellow exiles, your companions with whom you've withstood the downside, and with whom you shall now conduct this final rite. Begging your pardon, but my time has come. We shall see each other soon. He departs. After this night, the outcome of Volfred's plan, the plan of which you all have been a part, shall be decided, one way or another. For now, all you can do is strive to prevail against your final adversaries, so that one last companion may go free. You rise to join your fellow exiles as the last remaining stars ignite. The final liberation rite of this age shall now commence. We have to keep going until we are free. No pressure. Some pressure. Stars, are you kidding me? Get out of here. No. Needy little things.
Look, for one last time, upon the fall of Solium, dear reader. Hear me for one last time.
Okay.
For soon, the few remaining stars shall fade away, leaving you stranded there for your remaining days in that forsaken land where you deserve to be. The rabble that you roused here in the Commonwealth shall be put down. The exiles whom you liberated all shall fall in line. But first, let us get on with this last liberation rite. You face none other than yourselves. Each so unlike the glorious Nightwings of yore. 'Tis a shame that one of you shall soon be free, for you deserve each other.
He's talking a pretty big game for someone with less than a 20% chance of continuing to hold this position and, like, winning out against this resistance effort. I mean, if he's wanting to win this out, if he's wanting to suppress this rebellion, he basically has to roll a 19 or higher. It's not good odds. I guess talking a big game is kind of all the voice can really do, in his defense. The pyres burn and each of the triumvirates is present and prepared. But before the lone minstrel can concur, as per the custom, not another word. The demon Orlek slowly raises his clawed fingers to his mask. The false Nightwings have arrived, at last. Long have I awaited this. My freedom once was stolen from me. Then I was cheated of it, here, upon this mountaintop. You may now attempt to take it from me once more. He stands there for a moment, silent. Then, Orlek dons his mask and stands prepared. May these damned rites cease forever for the misery which they've caused. You and two little drive amps. Not what I expected the team to look like. Nightwings, we shall not meet again after tonight, for the cycle of the rites is all but ended. Thus, I would have your decision. On whose behalf shall you conduct this final liberation rite? The one whom you anoint, or else the exile Orlek, shall be returned. Godspeed, reader. You know what is at stake better than I. I have utmost faith in you to make the best decision and conduct this rite with glory. Nightwings, the star's remaining light grows dim. Your decision, please. It is time now to choose who, if anyone among you, shall go free this one last time. The rest of you shall remain in the downside to the end of your days. one by one, you meet the gazes of each of your fellow exiles. Bertrude, Tizo, Wolfred, Shay. Your fellow exiles, your companions, your friends. Together you've come this far, but now the downside and the Rites conspire to tear your group apart and disrupt your plan. Which is, again, 82%. Roll well, voice. Are you prepared to choose this one last time? I do believe so. The fate of your friends in the Commonwealth may hinge on the decision you're about to make. With but a glance, you reassure your fellow exiles that you know what to do.
One final opportunity for salvation.
Gonna have to read that over there.
Too bad for the rest of you.
I think for a whole lot of reasons. For this final one, Wolfred makes a lot of sense. Both as the leader of our group to go and be the kind of final nail in the coffin of this whole effort to just make sure this plan succeeds. Also because of history with Orlek. Also because it'll make the voice mad. These are all good reasons. Before we make these choices, though, let's look at this situation. 40 presents. 20 glory. I was going to say 0 glory seems like a pretty small number. I wasn't sure if I believed that. He's a former exile of the Nightwings, betrayed and abandoned in his moment of glory. He was a physician. He's been exiled for 18 years. His crime was insubordination. He refused a direct order to return to tending casualties on the blood border. And records show he harbored sympathies for the enemy and showed no love of country. He was repulsed by what he saw on the blood border, which sowed in his heart a yearning for a greater peace. He tried to use his influence to negotiate a treaty with the High Wing remnants, but not everyone was swayed. One day, he received direct orders to return to the front. When he refused to soil his hands again, they cast him down. There, in time, he became affiliated with the Nightwings, and grew to become one of their finest Rites conductors, until tragedy struck and he was left clinging to life at foot of the sacred mountain. And he holds a bit of a grudge. So, yep, their Pyre is beefy. He deals more damage to our Pyre after saluting. He can rush twice. Landing from a jump will stun adversaries, and he can banish us just by throwing the orb at us. That's mean. We'll just have to never let you have the ball. That's the solution. Wolfred, go get him.
Wolfred.
Long have I dreamt that I might someday see this plan of ours come to fruition. I promise you that I shall make the most of it, if we are to prevail. Your choice is cast. As for your other companions, you sense a clarity of thought and purpose in each of them. They stand ready to support Wolfred, as well as you.
Who shall be at his side?
Well, we're definitely going to need Shay, and also, I think, you. Yes. I think so. Yeah, she's good at defense, but also pretty quick. Can do some offense in a pinch. And she can shoot through barriers, which is real handy.
Bertrude.
Also, like, if anyone wants to help Wolfred out most, like, she's going to be sad seeing him go, but she's the most loyal one here. Thy will is ours, Reading One. Let the remaining stars shed their last light upon our ceremony here. And, of course, Shay, I'm going to need you to score a lot of points, okay? Like a lot of points. Many, many points.
Shay.
Blessed are the scribes, who grant to me and all of us this final chance, that we might free our dear friend Wolfred.
Predictably decided.
Those are to be my adversaries, then. And who is it, I wonder, who asserts his will over that group? You sense Orlek searching for you, almost reaching out to you. You. You, the shadow of the false Nightwings. They are nothing to me, but you who would relinquish your own liberty for the sake of them. Strange. It is fitting, then, that I should have come to face one such as you. Then Orlek stands at the ready, signaling for his 2 allies to do the same. Oh, it's not 2. It's not 2 drive amps. I thought it was. You're just both very small, is all. By light of dawn, the cycle of the rites shall cease. Let us see if we can finish this ordeal before that time. The sky above begins to shudder. The final liberation rite is about to commence. Tariq? Aye, I am prepared, Celeste. Then let our song this evening shake the stars themselves. Aye, Celeste. Let us make sure of it. Here we go. Play ball.
Begin.
Oh, he's speedy.
The final chance.
Not quite speedy enough, though. Shay, go. Can't believe you missed. That's fine. We'll just ride. Not quite fast enough. That's fine. Ah, they are fast, though. No, you don't. Go. Ah, I jumped just a hair too late. Nope. No, you don't. Try, I dare ya. Shotgun! Yeah, out. Nah. Yep, good thing we have Shay here because, goodness, it's a fast team. Nope. Infinite run! Yeah! Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to score by shooting, I think, against this crew. Boy, they come back fast. Very, very fast. Whew. Very, very fast. Get out of here. Shoot! There we go. Goodness. It's gonna take a lot of shots. You wear the raiments once again. I could not simply stand by and do nothing, Orlek. Yet that's what you did when last we stood together on this blasted mountain. I fell. You simply stood. Orlek, what shall it take for you to be convinced I took no part in your betrayal? Orlek seems to consider the question, but only for a moment. Give me my damn freedom. Let me prevail, here and now. Would you promise to uphold our plan, to bring about a better Commonwealth? Orlek and Volfred's dream to one day see the Commonwealth turn to a surer course. We shall stand together shoulder to shoulder, as the scribes themselves once stood. Volfred to Orlek. Choose your answer carefully here, bud. It's going to have a significant impact on how much effort I put into this. No, I make no promises. I owe you nothing. Then I'm sorry, Orlek. For love of country comes before all else. More than your freedom and our friendship is at stake. Your love be damned, Volfred. Let us stand as adversaries then. That's what we were already doing. Get out of here.
Banished each in turn.
Nope. Satisfying. Nope. Ah.
Alas for Shay.
Ah. Hey, stop it. No, rats. Mooncrest quick. Woo. Got a little lucky there, but not lucky there.
'Tis wrath, not glory, now which drives that Oralek.
Dang. Put the down one now, that's nice. Get out of here. Speedy. Speedy little explosion. Gotcha. Ah, he's so fast. Shotgun. Beautiful. Big points.
Now that is how to snuff a flame.
That's what I thought. Shay needs to do that next time so we can get some health back. The sky rains ash. Soon shall your pyre's own mingle with them. Just then, the skies above begin to rain down fire. The final throes of the cycle of the rites and the ending of the age. Skies, I've been dealing with enough already. Hey. I've been dealing with quite enough already, I think.
How he has changed, that Oralek. Grown old and bitter lo these many years.
Get out of here, both of you. Nope. Nah.
Almost.
Shoot. Sniped. Get out of here. You get out of here too. And you. Ah, dang it. Goodbye.
Now then.
Ah. Get out of here. Get out. All of you. You all suck. Shay, go. Ah. The jump always happens just a hair too late. How did that not hit you? Shay, go. Fire! Whew! And we got some of ours back, too. Heck yeah. It's gonna be a hard one, but we're doing all right here. Ah, look out. Darn it. You got lucky. Get out of here. Go. Nah, a little slow. That's fine. Nah. Throw. Ah, didn't quite get there. What? No, I was trying to control Shay. Fine. Switching between characters does not always work quite as speedily or intuitively as I'd like at times. We'll make do. Throw! Yeah, Bertrude! So the false Nightwings bear their fangs at last. But that cannot be your finest effort. You think you deserve your freedom more than I. Then fight for it, damn you. What does it look like I've been doing? Ah, it's behind the wall. Shay, go. Yeah. Go. Ah, they're so fast. Got you. Beautiful. Nah. Yep. Shotgun.
'Tis taken.
Good. No. Unlucky. Not good. Yeah. Just buying time. Whew.
The orb.
Go. Quick. Whew. I'll take it.
Turn the orb into the flame.
Thank goodness for those fast throws. Orlek stands breathing heavily. He looks back on the thin lick of flame that is his smoldering pyre before turning his attention back to your triumvirate. Okay, good. Nah. Speedy little goblin.
Yes.
Ah. Darn low stamina. Nope. Can't believe you got through there.
Sorry, Volfred.
We gotta go. Throw.
Oh.
Look at that. 4 left to go.
Now go on just once more.
Trying. Smoke him.
Vanished.
Ah. They got lucky. Bertrand, where are you? There you are.
Twas almost cruel.
Throw! Not far enough. Shay, you got this. Take it. Ah! That jump almost worked.
Be gone now, Orlek.
Yeah!
United in
Dunk!
banishment. And there it is at last. The Night Wings proved their worth. As for their adversaries, they did not. Thus ends the liberation rite. And thus, the scribes have chosen.
Praise the scribes. We've done it. You look upon Volfred for what you expect shall be the last time you see each other. Any moment now, the Shimmer Pool shall engulf him. Any moment now, he shall return to glory and join his agents in the Commonwealth to help achieve the plan. Any moment now, the cycle of the rites shall end, until at least the dawn of a new age. Any moment now.
And thus, the scribes have chosen. And thus, the scribes have chosen. And thus, the scribes have chosen. No. Night Wings. Reader, what have you done?
I don't know. Hold. There's something wrong. Each prior time upon the fall of Solium, the Shimmer Pool has opened, following the Liberation Rite, and taken in whichever exile prevailed. But now all is still, and the light of the stars above has all but died. You sense a growing fear that it is already too late, that the Shimmer Pool shall not reveal itself again. Orlek approaches, his head bowed. The 8 scribes saved their greatest treachery for last. Then something else catches his notice. Wait. A sudden rush of starlight cascades through the stillness of the summit. The Shimmer Pool has appeared again, different somehow, but open. Volfred looks upon it, but it does not engulf him, or at least not yet. It seems I was mistaken then. The 8 scribes. This is not their greatest treachery, it's their greatest jest. The Shimmer Pool is flung wide open. It seems that all are worthy now of freedom. Orlek strides toward the Shimmer Pool, but... Halt, Orlek. Orlick glances over at the lone minstrel almost in surprise. The shimmer pool has lost most of its strength. You step inside and you shall surely drown. Of that I can assure you. He laughs to himself at this. Then we have all been cheated. No. The shimmer pool is revealed, and one of you may still return as planned. But, as for who returns, someone shall have to choose. Ere the last light of the stars is extinguished and the rites cease to be. This is the final trial of the scribes. The final trial of the scribes. Then, our confrontation, the liberation rite, it was all meaningless. No. The victor of the confrontation is to be the one to make the choice among those closest to the scribes, either the anointed or he who anointed them. So then, the choice is mine to make. My freedom weighed against the reader's. Is that it? Aye. It shall be either you, the reader, or... It shall be either or. Wilfred, please, make your decision quickly, lest it shall be forfeit. I do not know for how much longer the light of the stars shall offer you this gift. A snap decision, then. Fine. I have it made. Reader, my boy, this chance at freedom that we've earned, it's yours. Take it now, and make good use of it, for you and all of us. Wilfred wishes to give up his freedom so that you may regain yours. Very well. Reader, sir, the choice which Wilfred made, or rather the choice which he gave, it is now yours to make instead. This choice, it may keep bouncing back and forth like this. Absurd. It may, until such time as one of you is willing to accept the burden and the outcome of the choice. That is the trial, and I fear that there is little time remaining now. Reader, if you and your companion are too cordial with each other to accept that freedom, either one of you, then I shall gladly take it. Freedom ought to be more than some flirtatious trifle to exchange. Reader, what is your will? Who shall finally go free? This is your chance, and Wilfred wished that you should take it, which is really the only thing making me just not choose Wilfred immediately right now. Your intention this night was for him to return to glory, and it shall be done. Oh, he earned his rightful freedom long ago. He deserves his justice. Also true. But, there is much more at stake than Orlick. And far many more people also wronged by this entire process. It was my plan to send Wilfred out. But given that then the choice was put in Wilfred's hands and Wilfred immediately chose sending us out, like that is even though I don't know that we are going to be more useful for the plan than he. Well, maybe we are. We do read a lot. But yeah, like, this is his plan ultimately. If he thinks we are the right choice, then, and also like that is a very selfless thing to do, to refuse that. Like, I don't know. It feels... like, I would kind of rather he go out, but he clearly feels the same about me, and he was already in a position to claim it, and he's making a very selfless choice here that I want to respect. So... and hey, now, like, I go, and Sandra in an orb goes. That'll make for some fun hijinks. Your mind is made up. You have chosen to be free yourself. I see and understand. Then, It is done. Volfred looks to you this one last time, his heart filled with unspoken understanding. You turn then to the lone minstrel for an instant, but another instant later, he is gone. He and everyone. All you feel is the coldness of the rush of water coursing all around you. Volfred gave his freedom so that you may yet have yours. You are set to return to the Commonwealth and leave the downside forever. May you return in glory.
Godspeed, reader. By the scribes. No stars remain aloft. The cycle of the rites. It is finished. The Commonwealth. What shall become of it? What shall become of us? Nightwings. The opportunity to gain your freedom from the downside. Was it not enough?
Nope. You and I are going to have words when we get up there. That night, an exiled reader returned to the Commonwealth. He was to be the last. The stars had faded, and the cycle of the rites had run its course. He found the Commonwealth in a state of unrest. Spurred by the efforts of 5 liberated exiles, Volfred Sandalwood's revolutionary plan had incited the masses. These exiles and the starless sky portended the return of the scribes. The rulers of the Commonwealth pushed back. Fighting broke out in the streets, in spite of Sandalwood's intentions. It was then that the winged High-Wing remnants chose to strike. Allegations that the High-Wing remnants were in league with Sandalwood were never proven. However, there was no denying the result of the two-pronged attack. After enduring for almost a millennium, the Commonwealth had fallen. The new Saurian Union declared its sovereignty in the next year. Among the changes its elected leaders ushered in, they vowed never to cast their people into exile, and they abolished the old Commonwealth decree forbidding literacy. Today, we still remember all of this. And we remember the exiles of the downside, whose deeds led to the dawning of our age, whether they returned or not. Ooh. What's this then? Do we get a little post-game thing for everyone? Choose someone to learn what became of them since last you met. Heck yes. I'd love to. You know what? Who to start with? Oh, and there's like a cool little golden halo effect around those who were liberated. And also they're in their sort of like white raiments and everything. It's neat. Well, let's start with friends, I suppose. Heck, we can go in some order.
Cancil Tavidias.
After his liberation, Hedwyn was instrumental in the events leading to the fall of the Commonwealth, and was vital to the outcome of the plan. Volfred's ambitious plot to spark a revolution in the Commonwealth as peacefully as possible. He was the one who led the raid on the stronghold where Archjustice Androboles IX was holed up when the fighting grew fierce. With him, then and thereafter, was one of the winged harps of the High-Wing remnants, later identified as Fikani Shang. Oh, was his, loved one, a harp? A harp for whom Hedwyn cared deeply. They were separated when Hedwyn was exiled. Their bond was vital to the peace that followed. In all his days as a leader in the Saurian Union, Hedwyn oft confided in his friend, Jodariel. The Saurian Union, our nation, formed in 839 AS after the fall of the Commonwealth. One day, we all may stand shoulder to shoulder with a common cause, Volfred Sandalwood. Despite her intense manner, there was no one whom he trusted more in times when circumspection was required. Hedwyn would often think back about the vow he made at the beginning of his quest for freedom. Although he cherished all of the friendships he had made, he had pledged to Jodariel, Rookie Greentail, and the Reader of the Nightwings that they might all be free again, together. You were once an exile, sentenced to life in the downside. Now you are free. Once merely the status of a deviant, yet now a revered title in the Saurian Union. His promise had come to pass, though he always knew that this was not his own doing. He was always deeply grateful to the other three, his closest friends. While the others who stood with the Nightwings were not all able to remain in contact thus, Hedwyn thought of each of them often, and so, in turn, did they oft think of him. Oh, nice of them to keep track of who we've checked on. Next up, I suppose, would have been you. When the worm Gilman returned to the Commonwealth, he believed that he had regained something even more important than his freedom, his honor. Gilman relinquished his knighthood and declined an opportunity to serve as captain on the Blood Border. He was not interested in fighting any longer. Yet, as is sometimes the case with those such as he, a circumstance soon came about in which there came a need for him to once again make use of his military training. He fought that night of the Scribe's return. He fought with all his might. He faced other worm knights. He cared only for the cause. Scribe's return. Inspired by the liberated exiles, the people of the Commonwealth demanded new leadership. "Cast yourselves down, cast yourselves down," was the chant from the Scribe's return. When the matter was at last put to rest, then Gilman truly knew his time as a knight had ended. He declared to all those in earshot that he would never fight again. Unless, of course, there arose some other extraordinary set of circumstance, again requiring him to fight, but he certainly hoped not. He still trained regularly, just in case, especially with his fleet-footed friend, Rookie Greentail. He was always grateful for the counsel of the Reader, and would regale him over and over about the time they squashed the spawn of unfathomed Plurnes. By that point, he had long forgotten about his days under the leadership of Sir Deluge, his former commander. Breaking free of his abusive leadership was his first step toward gaining a bit of self-respect. Gilman never did return to his homeland of the Sea Dominion, and was content to lead a monastic life on a small residence in the hills. It was just high up enough to make him keep striving to conquer his fear of heights. Other than that, an intense daily training regimen and the occasional visit from an old companion was more than enough to keep him optimistic and engaged. He knew by then that honor was not something to be won, but a contract with oneself, to be renewed each day. It's quite a lot of text per character. They spoil us. All right. Well, I suppose next would have been you, Rookie. After Rookie Greentail earned back his freedom, he returned to a lavish welcome ceremony in the Commonwealth, as was the tendency for liberated exiles. It was everything he could have hoped for, and soon he was well off, surrounded by luxury and choosing between various exciting opportunities. However, he must have given in to his better judgment, as he did end up siding with Volfred Sandalwood's revolutionary forces as he promised. On the night of the Scribe's return, Greentail kept busy barking orders to Volfred's agents as the situation grew tenser. He took rather well to leadership. When dawn finally came, and it became clear that the Commonwealth that everyone knew would be no more, he realized many new opportunities awaited it. He began quite a lucrative career for himself, manufacturing and selling replica merchandise inspired by the downside. His main struggle was to meet demand. An aspect of his conscience cautioned him against making light of such a thing, but the money was too good, and soon his family was as well off as he always said. One of his orders of business was to seek out one of his old companions, Pamitha Thane, to whom he took a liking during their quest for freedom. They bonded further over love of drink, and supported one another through uncertain times that lay in store. He always kept in close touch with Gilman, ever the perfect practice partner. They would train together often, taking care to stay in tip-top shape as much as possible throughout the years. Greentail always did his best to keep in touch with all his many friends, and knew that he owed his fortunes to them. He made a special point of staying close with the group of friends he came to know so well during his time with the Nightwings, wherever they were. They shared a special understanding that put even Greentail at a loss for words sometimes. What a good bunch. And next up would have been you. After her liberation, Jodariel soon became an icon of the movement that led to the collapse of the Commonwealth and the rise of the Saurian Union. Her military prowess and experience led to key victories in clashes against Commonwealth loyalists. Each time she was able to subdue the opposition, avoiding lethal force. In the uncertain times that followed, Jodariel's seasoned expertise often came into play, both in matters of security and of state. For instance, she conscripted and trained a team of volunteers in public safety. The community did not know what to make of such a cordial bunch at first, but soon came to value their service. They have stood for the people ever since, and we celebrate their founding day each year. She remained close with Hedwyn all through his experience, and they supported each other through their struggles many, many times. She often had to stop herself from fearing for Shay, whom she had tried to look after as much as possible in the downside. Soon, she would reassure herself that Shay was very capable of surviving on her own, and, in fact, she was not mistaken. She never settled down with anyone, although from time to time she thought about Ignarius, despite herself. She continued training on her own, a regimen that grew stricter with each passing year. There were those who sought to train with her, and she sometimes obliged. There remained one other constant in her life. She would always remember her days among the Nightwings, and with fondness for the most part. Good for her. I suppose you were the one to get out next, weren't you? As soon as possible after Tamitha Thane earned back her liberty, she rejoined her Sisters of the Highwing Remnants in the mountains north of the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth believed that someone such as she could be rehabilitated through years spent in exile. Instead, her hatred for her ancient enemies only intensified. On the night of the Scribe's return, the Highwing Remnants were poised to strike the Commonwealth in a decisive blow. They had received credible intelligence about the expected positions of the Commonwealth leadership and of specific weaknesses in the blood border defenses anticipated that night. After a surgical procedure, Tamitha could fly again, almost as well as prior to her exile. She insisted on spearheading the attack with a squadron of the Harp's finest. They descended on their foes exactly as planned. The chaos that had risen in the streets of the Commonwealth that night made for an optimal diversion. Nonetheless, the battle took its toll. Many of Tamitha's sisters fell. She herself sustained many grievous wounds, but ignored them all and fought with a terrible fury. By dawn, the leaders of the Commonwealth had been eliminated, and Tamitha was limping back toward the mountains. She would never fly again. Soon after the fall of the Commonwealth, Tamitha attended a debriefing in which her blood sister Pamitha was also in attendance. Tamitha was very skeptical that Pamitha could have played a beneficial role in the preceding events, and lashed out at her. Pamitha made no attempt to elude the attack, and was struck full on. This cost Pamitha the use of her right wing. Yet, after she recovered, she shrugged the incident aside, and said maybe they would call it even now. From that point on, the Blood Sisters kept a formal distance, but were cordial with each other. After the rise of the Saurian Union, Tamitha Thane continued to serve as flight tactician, and remained respected and feared even among her kind. However, without a war to wage, she grew more distant even than usual. Those closest to her surmised that her inability to reconcile with her blood sister was at the heart of this, though for her part, Tamitha never once admitted to any such weakness. I cannot imagine. We're getting a lot of text per character, and a lot of this text would be different depending not just on whether that character got out or not, but also depending on a lot of the other characters that got in or out. I'd be very curious to know how many words of text were required just for this screen alone, in all its possible variants. Heck of a thing. Well, anyway, you're next. After regaining her freedom, Pamitha Thane found herself in a difficult position. Having once betrayed her people of the High Wing remnants, she knew that she would not be welcome in her native home. She did not trust the Commonwealth either. Instead, she found her place among Vulfred Sandalwood's agents, who were busy doing their part to fulfill the plan. The plan took certain unexpected turns, but in the end, resulted in the outcome Sandalwood had envisioned. It was fortunate that the High Wing remnants arrived when they did on the night of the scribe's return. However, Pamitha denied any involvement with or foreknowledge of this. Afterward, Pamitha played an active part in negotiating terms between the High Wing remnants and the new nation that would become our Saurian Union. Her previous attempt at something of the sort led to her exile. She must have felt some satisfaction to succeed this time around. Sometime later, Pamitha had an unexpected run-in with Rookie Greentail, with whom she had spent a fair amount of time while traveling with the Nightwings. Under these new set of circumstances, it turned out that the two had more to talk about, and rather more in common. They would often put to test which one was able to outdrink the other. It is unclear as to which one of them prevailed in that contest in the end. One day, Pamitha received an invitation to return to the High Wing remnants, where she was to be fully pardoned. That was where she ran into her blood sister, Tamitha, for the first time since their exile. Their reunion was not as amicable as Pamitha might have hoped, and Tamitha, still resentful of their history together, turned violent. Pamitha would later brush aside the incident, although always had an injury to show for it. Yet, from that point on, the blood sisters were back on speaking terms, at least for the most part. Later, when asked, Pamitha Thane admitted she felt as though she had no home to call her own. This was during an interview conducted amid an extensive trip abroad, for she had traveled thousands of leagues beyond the bounds of the Saurian Union. Pamitha continued to journey thus, citing that it reminded her of when she was younger and could fly unfettered. And I guess we were the last one out after that point, so now it's probably time to start checking in with some others. Maybe we'll start with some of these folk over here now. After the final liberation rite, Lendil refused to believe that the rites had truly ended. He would sit through night after consecutive night, staring into the blackness of the sky, awaiting any kind of sign that he might gain another chance at freedom. No such sign ever came. His fellow accusers started to express concern for him. Survival had become their top priority once liberty had slipped from their grasp. But Lendil dismissed them as weak fools. He insisted rather forcefully that any evening now the stars would shine for him again, and mark the way toward his inevitable freedom. He was, of course, mistaken. The others in his triumvirate were left with little choice but to abandon him. After that, the exile known as Lendil the Liar was never seen again. However, there have since been sightings of a bedraggled demon who wanders the downside and bears Lendil's cruel countenance, suggesting he yet lives. I see. Who next? Let's say you. As the cycle of the rites drew to a close, it grew evident that a chance at freedom from the downside had forever slipped from Dalbert and Almer Oldheart's grasp. Thus, they and the exiles of the Fate returned to Jomure Valley. There, they struggled to get by, as exiles of the downside tend to do. Sometime after the rites had ended, the Oldhearts at last heard the news that the Commonwealth had fallen. This was well after the fact, of course, but it brought old Dalbert great joy. Despite his forthright manner, he had no love for the nation that cast him down, along with his son. Dalbert Oldheart passed peacefully in his sleep before the next new moon. In his final days, he implored his son to undertake a pilgrimage to the scribes. Almer never shared his father's view of the scribes, but respected Dalbert's wishes, and so, after a period of mourning, Almer began a new journey. One day, during his travels, he ran almost headlong into another exile after paying homage at the Spring of Jomure. He was stunned to find that this was none other than the one he knew as Shay, from their days as adversaries in the rites. Shay was overjoyed to see him, though Almer was unable to bring himself to understand why. Eventually, of course, he did, and they remained together, growing ever more accustomed to their new lives in the downside. Not a day went by that Almer Oldheart did not think about his father, and give thanks to him, and speak to him at morning and at night. Would that the stars yet shone, For surely Dalberts would be there among them, smiling down at his son and watching over him and his kin. Glad he and Shay did bump into each other eventually. And you? After the cycle of the rites had ceased, Witch Udmild returned to the Flagging Hands region, where she sealed herself within the Pit of Melith. There, even her fellow exiles of the Withdrawn allegedly grew unnerved after a time, and left her to her vile work. Sometime later, the Pit of Melith erupted into flame. So intense was the conflagration that it could be seen all the way from Jomur Valley. Arson was suspected, though the cause was never verified, and many bog dwellers in the region were forced to flee. A tempest blowing from the north finally quenched the flames. When at last the ashes settled and the grounds had cooled, the site of the fire was scarred beyond recognition. No trace of Witch Udmild could be found. As for the contents of the Pit of Melith, which notably included a profane object thought to be the remains of Islach, all of it was gone as well. Back in the Saurian Union, Udmild's repeated threats of the return of Islach were thoroughly investigated, and no credence was found to any of her claims. Probably for the best. So, how about you? Barker Ashpaws never had much interest in returning to the Commonwealth, for he always found its bylaws to be stifling. So, when the rites ended, he did not care, at first. He soon grew very bored. The rites had given his life a certain sense of structure he'd always needed. He missed the raw anticipation of it all. He decided to continue conducting the rites, for the thrill of it. He bent some of the rules and replaced some of the objects, but it was close enough. His packmates, the dissidents, proved more than happy to participate, and thus they ran against each other back in Jomur Valley. Gradually, other exiles familiar with the rites, as well as those who had not heard of it at all, started to take an interest. They ended up giving Barker Ashpaws some healthy competition. His old feud with Rookie Greentail ceased meaning anything to him, and he forgot all about it amidst his new pursuits. Ultimately, even Barker Ashpaws, who had led such a directionless existence to that point, found something of a calling through the rites. Whether he took the rites less seriously than any other exile of his time, or more, was oft debated by those who watched him work. Well, glad he's happy. And you? All his life, Sir Deluge had fled from one danger only to find himself facing another. He had escaped the war-torn waters of the Sea Dominion. He had escaped the blood border of the Commonwealth, and now he had escaped the rites. After the rites had ended, many exiles wrapped up in the ancient test were crestfallen as their last chances to return to their homes vanished, along with the stars above. But Deluge did not mind, for this outcome meant that, at last, there was no burden of responsibility weighing down on him. While most of his fellow exiles of the Pyre Hearts yet longed for the waters of the Sea Dominion, driven as ever by their impulses toward conflict, Deluge settled down. With him remained one of his companions, one Lady Seagrass, who had taken a liking to him for some reason. Reportedly, they disappeared into the waters of Worm Gulf, which may begin to explain the significant increase in worm population observed in the vicinity. Well, good for them.
Mon spectaculaire.
When Manly Tinderstoff realized the rites had ended, and that he no longer could return to the Commonwealth through this ancient means, he was outraged. He cursed the scribes, spewing forth such a slew of blasphemy as to be very unbecoming of one of his high status and bearing. When at last he calmed himself, he focused all his energies on attempting to find another means of homecoming. He maintained regular contact with his wealthy family on the other side via messenger imp, and used their vast resources to explore other means of escape. He tried using an elaborate pulley system. He attempted to retrofit a flying black wagon with superior propulsion. He tried an imp raft, a hot air balloon, even prayer. Nothing worked. There was only one way to escape the downside, and now it was gone. Tinderstoff bankrupted his family in these vain attempts. At last, such was his shame that he retreated to the teeming woods of Black Basin, to Cinderroot. There he yet wallows, complaining to his comrades of the chastity who still put up with him, either about his own misfortune or the latest news from the other side. And you? Once it became clear to Ignarius that the rites were drawing to a close, he knew that it was time for him and the Tempers to call it quits. But first, he and the Tempers decided to celebrate, and that they did for many, many nights. The revelry did eventually subside. The exiles parted amicably and went their separate ways. He roamed the downside then, searching for some meaning in his life, sometimes taking odd jobs requiring his brute strength. He never remained alone for very long, and took on many lovers in his time. However, he sometimes thought about the one he had called Curly Horns and what became of her. Though his glory days as the most powerful conductor of the rites had long since passed, he always enjoyed the fearsome reputation he had cultivated at that time. What about you? I'm very curious. After the Shimmer Pool closed for what would be the last time, Orlek looked around him in the flickering light of the Nightwing's still burning pyre. He then turned to the fall of Solium and looked up toward the black, starless sky. He cursed the 8 scribes, then one after the other. After that, he strode forward toward the waters coursing from the side of Mount Elodiel, and, without hesitating, he cast himself down. Orlek's body was never recovered. The drop from Mount Elodiel does not appear survivable, though Orlek did survive it once. That time, however, he was filled with fury. Such was the betrayal he had suffered when his fellow exile claimed his rightful freedom. This time, Orlek was filled with nothingness, and chose to leave the downside in the one way he still knew he could. The other Nightwings, who were witness to this, never forgot what they saw. Kind of expected it wasn't going to be a happy end for that one. Although I kind of also have a suspicion it wasn't going to be a very happy end for him even if he got out. I don't know if that bitterness just all goes away. But who knows? I think, Ron, we're going to go with you next. Because going to you after our remaining bestest buddies seems silly. With the rites drawn to a close, the slug market's revenues fell precipitously, and Falcon Ron was forced to liquidate his assets and close up shop. Yet, as is sometimes the case with those of an entrepreneurial leaning, this time of hardship led to an epiphany, or at least a sudden change of fortune. One day, Falcon Ron had a run-in with a messenger imp bearing news from the other side. Ron gave to it one of his remaining trinkets which could not be sold. The following week, the messenger imp returned to him bearing a tidy sum of wealth in a newly minted coinage from the Saurian Union. Falcon Ron cut a long-term deal with the messenger imp then and there. Though his trade remained a gray area from a legal standpoint in the Saurian Union, the newfound fame of the downside caused Falcon Ron's goods to explode in popularity. He later signed an elaborate agreement with Big Birchroots and found a distribution partner on the other side through Rookie Greentail, whose own business had expanded. Especially in the Saurian Union, Falcon Ron's goods are still known for their superior quality, though he assumes no liability for any side effects. Glad Ron's doing all right. I'm starting to think Orb might not have come with me, which is a bit of a bummer. Although, I wonder if, you have this halo here. No, you've got, well, now those are your yellow orbs, not the white ones of liberated folk, I don't think. Let's find out. After the cycle of the rites ceased turning, records of what happened to the Black Wagon of the Nightwings became inconclusive and contradictory. Some accounts suggest that the exiles of the Nightwings, who remained in the downside, continued to make use of the Black Wagon as their place of shelter and their means of travel. However, there's no record of what happened to the wagon's contents, such as the Book of Rites or the Beyonder Crystal, said to be haunted by the apparition Sandra the Unseeing. One possibility is that when the lone minstrel took his leave, he took the Beyonder Crystal with him, for he was thus obliged. By this line of reasoning, however, the Black Wagon itself should have been taken also. Others remain skeptical that the Beyonder Crystal ever existed, or rather that the visions that it granted were anything other than the result of an active imagination or a fever dream. The bog dwellers of the southern bogs offer still another explanation, for they are familiar with binding enchantments. If there existed such an object, in which the Sisters of the Arch had been expelled for more than 800 years, then the enchantment could have expired along with the light of the stars. What this would have meant for Sandra and the Beyonders is difficult to say for certain, other than it may have meant that they were finally released. Nevertheless, the fates of Sandra and the Beyonder Crystal remain unknown. Yet, those exiles of the Nightwings who claimed to have seen this apparition all spoke of her with degrees of reverence, or perhaps a little fear. I think she'd have wanted it that way. Can you believe this, reader? Honestly. Sandra has appeared before you, as well you can see. They're so far from the mark with all this nonsense, I want to laugh. In fact, here goes. She laughs. She is referring to the account of her. You sense she does not care for it. Well, let them gossip all they like. I merely wish that they would mention you at least in passing when next they're at it. Though they shall never know even the half of it, shall they? Sandra seems irritated by the incomplete account of what happened to her. We could reassure her. The account was relatively flattering, despite a lack of detail. Could have been worse. Well, perhaps making some light of the situation will make Sandra feel better. Sometimes Sandra just needs a little time to vent. She values that you listen. I'll reassure her. You suggest to Sandra that the account of what occurred to her was really not that bad, and that you liked aspects of it. You're much too diplomatic, you know that? You can tell she's unswayed, and yet her grin remains intact. She appreciates the gesture. Anyway, let us keep going, lovely reader. We know the truth of it. That is what matters. She fades into the Beyonder Crystal for now, and you tuck it away, safe. That's very good. I love that variation on this whole sequence. Really good. So, Tizo. How do we do? Once the rites had ended, the imp Tizo had a job to do, quite unlike most exiles trapped forever in the downside. The lone minstrel asked that he watch over the Black Wagon, which the Nightwings had used extensively for travel and for shelter all throughout their quest. Tizo obliged, for he knew that wagon, as well as its drive imp inhabitants, perhaps better than anyone. What became of the wagon exactly was never verified, as evidence of Tizo's thorough work. After that, he liked to while away his days with any of his friends, or else with fellow imps. He would visit his friend, Shay, at every opportunity. She was among the few who could consistently interpret what he meant, and they were always close since first they met. Sandalwood sometimes called for his assistance, and Tizo was always happy to oblige. The two would often reminisce about their times with the lone minstrel. Tizo often missed his interactions with the reader of the Nightwings. They'd quickly built quite a rapport back in the downside. Indeed, Tizo would often express wistful gratitude for all his time with the Nightwings and their many adventures throughout the land that was always his home. Other than that, Tizo would sometimes help interpret for messenger imps relaying news to and from the Saurian Union. Despite having gained significant celebrity abroad, he never let it go to his head. And he would go fishing in the Sea of Solace at every single chance he got. Hate those fish. Probably. Maybe. Hard to tell.
Concealed Tavidias?
Long after the rites had ended, Shay admitted that she knew well before the fact that she would not be going home again. At least, she had a very strong feeling. She ended up not minding very much, because she had little to return to in the Commonwealth. Her sense of home had changed. She took to wandering from one celestial landmark to the next, ever paying homage to the 8 scribes, who she believed had influenced all that transpired. She was no stranger to traveling alone, but was always happy to have company. Among her friends, she always remained close with Tizo, who, more so than anyone, could always make her laugh. Though they could not see each other any longer, Shay often thought about Jadariel and spoke to her as though she were there. Shay tried never to make a decision without first consulting her idea of what Miss Jadariel might say. One day, she encountered one of her former adversaries, one called Almer Oldheart, who had served the Fate. She remembered him much more than he did her, although only just at first. Their shared experience in the rites and their different points of view about the scribes formed the basis of what grew to be a long-lasting relationship. Shay always was devoted to her faith, but more so to her friends. Her gentle manner and unwavering conviction often helped them brave life in the downside, both with courage and with grace. Oh, good. I had a feeling that she would do pretty well. Still in the downside. Really, the saddest thing for most of them so far is just how many of their friends weren't there still. Several exiles of the Nightwings cared more for the plan of Sandalwood than to return home from the downside. The crone called Big Bertrude was a prime example. She had found a suitable environment to live within the dismal region known as Flagging Hands. There she had built up a thriving place of business known to many exiles in the land. With the rites having ended, she returned to her preoccupations, working away almost as though nothing had happened. When one gets to be more than 400 years of age, perhaps then even monumental events such as the culmination of the rites or the collapse of the Commonwealth are seen as trifling matters. Much of her effort was doubtless due to the influence of Sandalwood, someone whom she had admired now for decades. He had made it clear that he could not requite her feelings for him, but what could have been a hurtful dismissal led only to a deeper understanding between them. By and large, Bertrude kept focused on her work. Whether casting small enchantments or imbuing talismans, the work brought her a sense of purpose, she would say. In the Commonwealth, such services were strictly forbidden, but in the downside there was a real need for simple luxuries, which the competing slug market could not always provide. Thus did Big Bertrude continue to live up to her name, and the tales of her days with the Nightwings made her that much more the living legend. I'm glad, I don't know how much time they actually spent with each other, but I guess one other fringe benefit of Wulfred opting to send us back instead of going himself is that Bertrude gets to still, continue a relationship with him, in some form. When the cycle of the rites ceased turning, Wulfred Sandalwood turned toward the starless sky and closed his eyes, and prayed. It was all that he could do at that stage of his plan. He aspired to a symbol with liberated exiles representing each of the 8 largest ethnic groups composing the population of the Commonwealth. They would stand together as a vision of the 8 scribes returned, inspiring the masses to embrace an older set of values from before the Commonwealth had tightened its grip. With the rites ending sooner than expected, this ideal scenario became impossible. Sandalwood's own freedom, for instance, was now forfeit. Yet, the plan did have contingencies. Word reached him that, on the night of the scribe's return, several of his fellow liberated Nightwings stood together, and their voices echoed through the streets. It was vital to Sandalwood that this stand against the Commonwealth be peaceful in its nature. But this proved to be untenable, especially after the Highwing remnants appeared. There was speculation that their well-timed assault may not have happened by coincidence, although Sandalwood denied any involvement and regretted the bloodshed. Nevertheless, the main thrust of the plan had been achieved. Sandalwood kept busy after that, as much as possible, providing counsel from afar to those who would be at the forefront of the birth of the Saurian Union. Of course, being stranded in the downside meant that there was only so much he could do. Resting assured that the future of the nation was in capable hands, he turned his attention to the remaining exiles of the downside. They might never return to that new nation, but at least they could experience its triumphs and its struggles in some vicarious way. So, he took to his old work, writing and printing. As literacy began to spread again throughout the Saurian Union, so too did exiles of the downside take to it. For his part, Sandalwood helped to teach as many as he could. More than that, he provided the material to read, a semi-annual report about the latest events both in the Saurian Union and the downside. This periodical gave many exiles something to look forward to. One of his allies in all of this was the imp Tizo, with whom he traveled all across the downside. Sandalwood often cited Tizo as the wellspring of his own enthusiasm for a brighter future, such was the creature's spirit. He enjoyed exchanging letters with the reader of the Nightwings, who kept him well abreast of how their other comrades and the fledgling nation fared. As Wulfred Sandalwood gained more fame throughout this land for all his sacrifices and his contributions, it is said that he remained steadfast about 2 things. The first was that the cause itself ought to remain in focus. The freedom that the people had achieved, it was a gift to be cherished, a set of values that needed to be nurtured. The second point he made was that he himself had little to do with the outcome. He would often praise the exiles of the Nightwings who stood with him, each in turn by name. He never forgot any of them. One day, to commemorate his birthday, the people of the Saurian Union unveiled a monument depicting him and the Nightwings as imagined in their prime. While Sandalwood did not learn of it until much later, It is said that he was moved to tears then by the gesture. It has since ensured that those of us with memories more fallible than that of Sandalwood likewise remember the achievements of his fellow former exiles and our cause. It's an incredibly satisfying ending, and all the more special for feeling like tailored and specific to how our story went. I would not be surprised if just about any outcome does still feel dramatically satisfying in the way it concludes. Like, I'd be fascinated to know, not enough to play through the whole game again right away or anything, but like fascinated to know what this all reads like in an ending where you lost every single match you went into. Just constantly. I bet it'd still be pretty fascinating. Maybe even just like dramatically satisfying in a way. They'd pull it off. Anyway, I still feel like I don't understand you two, and, you know, last chance. After the cycle of the rites ceased turning, the lone minstrel bade the remaining Nightwings take the Black Wagon and seek their fortunes elsewhere in the downside. Their parting was heartfelt but brief. He remained there at the summit of Mount Alaudiel with Celeste, where the two of them would chronicle the final outcome of the cycle. Neither Tariq nor Celeste were ever seen again. We know all this now through song attributed to them. Some claim these songs originated in the taverns of the Saurian Union and merely were imbued with weight of folklore. However, exiles liberated from the downside corroborated each other's claims at having met this duo that presided over the liberation rites. Another folktale suggests these minstrels were heralds of the scribes. Having fulfilled their obligations, they departed the world we know and rejoined their patrons. One of their famous songs describes another, simpler outcome, that the two gave up their duties to the rites in favor of a life that they could share together. In any case, they are likely to remain the subject of such verses and such songs, for it was they who watched over the rites and ushered in our times. Fine, stay mysterious. There is one more account which warrants mention. The Nightwings conducted the rites under the guidance of a reader. Little is known of him. However, some accounts of him begin to paint a picture. We know he was of common birth, always directionless and prone to misremembering at times. Was I inconsistent? With my backstory. The journey to the downside left him close to death. It was then that the Nightwings found him. They brought him from the brink. He showed them the path. He pressed onward with the others. He had made a vow to help his friends be free. Thus did the cycle of the rites commence its final turns. When the final rite arrived, the reader's freedom was at stake. That freedom he indeed achieved ere the morning's light. From that point on, accounts of him diverge. It is said the voice which troubled him he never heard again. Some say he opted to retreat from public life. Though whether that is true, only he knows. Someday, perhaps, that reader's own star shall emerge. Then it shall pierce the dark of night in all its brilliant glory. Until such time, and ever after, all of us give thanks.
Their journey began on a barren waste where the reader arrived, afraid and alone. When he arrived, the book of rites awakened the Nightwings and ignited the flame. are the last of the night wings who, having broken the cycle, shall live on in song. Headwind prevailed and strode.
Ooh, extra art, yes.
That his heart laid before him. He has found his way home.
They spoil us.
Captain Joe Dariel, mother
Ah, we did it.
to many a foundling,
Good gracious, Supergiant.
the way home.
They just don't miss. Ever.
Rookie Greentail,
Astonishing track record on this studio.
his worth and return to his family.
I'm really glad I finally have experienced this one now, like having played all of their other ones before. Like, now that I have seen what this one contains, it feels like this missing... well, it's not really like a missing link, but it connects the dots between Supergiant's earlier work and Hades. Like this introduces elements that Transistor and Bastion didn't have, that Hades does. I'm loving this. This is great. Like, I enjoy Bastion and Transistor a great deal, but like, this introduces a big cast of characters and gets way more into them. Like, Bastion and Transistor are somewhat lonely games. There's not a lot of characters in them, and there's very few characters who have much to say or do a whole lot of interaction or back and forth. And this is a very big change from that, and for the better, honestly. Like, I don't know that I would say I put this above Hades necessarily, but it's definitely up there. Like, I'd probably call this my second favorite of theirs I've played at this point. Like, just the design of the play itself is neat. It's a cool, like, fantasy sport they created. And, like, really well designed with a ton of depth to it. It doesn't surprise me that some people just fall way into this and just really enjoy diving into the systems of the play of this. But just the narrative design of this also feels like I can so easily see how this leads directly into Hades. Like, Hades is like the amalgamation of the three games combined, their previous three works combined. Like, the narrative work and the narrative that involves a large cast of characters here, combined with the more action game systems of Bastion and the, like, build variety of Transistor. I guess Bastion and Transistor are both all about action and impressive build variety stuff, but, like, marry all of those three games together and Hades feels extremely like the result. Like the destination that all these are leading to. And I just love how unique this one is. Even among Supergiant games. Just a real treat. I guess while there's still credits going, I'll do the little spiel thing. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this playthrough. I certainly have as well. Thank you to our patrons as well for choosing this game. Y'all finally managed to get this bonus playthrough to happen after many, many rounds of votes. You finally got it. And I'm very happy you did. Well chosen. And thank you for supporting us. I appreciate it very much. I'm excited to very soon get to the next bonus playthrough, which we've already reached that goal and y'all have already voted for it. We're not going to launch, like, right into it right away. Probably will be a couple of weeks at least, just because I could use a slight break, but ooh, I'm excited to get into that one.
We shall find our way home.
Yay for books. At long last, despite the Commonwealth's efforts, books have a place in our society. Frog Detective would be livid. The end. Heck of a thing. True Nightwing True Nightwing campaign mode unlocked. What does that mean? I'm not going to explain, are we? Hey, what does that mean? You know, I'll look it up later. Now, we're going to wrap this up here, but I did promise that there was going to be a full reading of the book, and a full reading of the book there shall be. Not this week, because I've just done like 3 or 4 episodes worth of reading today. So maybe I could use a bit of a break. Maybe next week we'll throw that little bonus episode together. And then we'll finally put a bow on this playthrough in a more final way. I look forward to it, though. I'm excited to actually, like, now that I've gotten to the end of the game, do a full reading of that thing. Kind of absorb it a little more thoroughly. But yes, thank you very much for watching, or for supporting us if you're a patron. We appreciate it very much. And I'll see you probably next week for that book reading, now that books are legal. And soon, I don't know when exactly, but pretty darn soon, the next bonus playthrough will begin. And that one's going to be much easier on my voice, I think. I'm pretty sure. We'll find out. See you soon. Bye!